What's up, YouTube? It's Loki Season 2. And I just figured out something I could have used to bring this camera up higher. So, 1 second. Oh, there we go. Now we get a little bit more face to face time, as it was. So, how are you guys? Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. What's up to the no one coming through early? Say what's up. Salute. Appreciate you, no one. And shout out to the chocolate witch, Aria, coming through here. What's good, Aria? Your name was on people's lips early this morning. So, if you guys don't know, I am in Las Vegas right now. If you remember, about a month or so ago, I bought a ticket to a show while I was here in Vegas on vacation, and only to discover that the show that I bought a ticket to was not until October. Now, if you are up on your time frames like I am, it is October, and that show is tonight. So I came back to Vegas for the show. It is the second show in the MSG sphere, which sounds that's a terrible name. They need to work on that. U2 has just left, and then this next show is going to be there. So that's why I ended up keeping a ticket because it was one of the first shows in this new venue, and I want to see it on the inside. I already got to walk around and everything on the outside. I want to see it from the inside. I want to see something in there, see how cool it looks on the inside. So I get into that shit. So I'm not at home. I'm in my hotel room because I was up late last night, which means my head hurts a little bit. I'm tired. I'm groggy. I had a long travel day yesterday and a long couple days before that, so my sleep patterns are kind of screwed up. I have not ventured out this morning. I didn't even go out to get breakfast. They had to bring breakfast to me. No. So with that, I had some time to watch some stuff on TV because apparently this week everything finished up and started and progressed this week. So come Sunday, this Sunday, I will be back home on Sunday for the Shop Talk stream. We can talk about those three shows. But on this one, I just wanted to do a little live reaction to the Loki show because I just finished watching that episode for the second time because I fell asleep on it last night or this morning, whichever way you want to look at it. I fell asleep on it. I wasn't following. I went to fucking sleep. So while I was eating my breakfast, I gave it a watch again since I'm traveling light. I didn't bring my laptop or anything. So that's why I'm streaming on the phone. So I watched it again and I thought I would just get down my reaction to it now for you guys, but I will do weekly watches of it, watch and review, and I will put the review on YouTube and the watch on Patreon. So that's where you'll find that little bit of witticism and wisdom um, on those streams. Aria said you need to watch it. Maybe it's first episode. He said you fell asleep on it last night as well. Yeah, yeah. Now, make no mistake about it. I was a fan of the Loki show. I liked the Loki show. I didn't like how they introduced the Sylvie character, and Sylvie is responsible for all this multiverse fuck up because she decided to kill the one black man who remained at the end of time. She said that was one too many. she, she wanted to thin the herd. What up, Trail? What up, man? Billy? So, other than that, I did like the Loki show. I was early on being interested in the show and thinking it could be really good. And then watching it, I really enjoyed it. So season two was a no brainer for me. I was coming back to watch season two regardless. Yeah, yeah, Trail. It's too many. With he who remains, like, oh, can't be you at the end. No, no, sir. No, I kicked the white boy out of here to kill you. Kicked him out the room so I could have some time alone to dance with you, homeboy. They ain't gonna be poking me. I'm gonna poke you. So I was interested in seeing season two of this show. I was because Loki was a bit different. I did figure out early that it was going to be dealing with some variants and some kind of different versions of Loki, which is what we saw. Sylvie being one of them, which objectionable in the show sense, but it is something that happened in comic books already. Female Loki is a thing in comics, and they usually play her up a lot and always find a way to bring her back. So it's not that big of a deal to me. Um, Watching the show with Sylvie was interesting, but they did Mary Sue her a little bit. It is what it is. So seeing season two and seeing how Loki dealt with the fact that he was falling in love with himself and that himself decided to screw him over and plunge the entire multiverse into peril because she just wants to kill this one person. I really want to see what the fallout of that was going to be on Loki because he was going to have to feel like it. You know, she Dear John his ass a walk out. You know, at the height of love or whatever the fuck it is, and you knock down from that, you have to have some repercussions for that. But beyond that, there has to be more repercussions in the TVA and the time stream and everything else because there are other Kangs coming out. You have set in motion events that will spawn multiple different versions of Kang. Thanks a lot. So I wanted to see what the fallout of that was going to look like, and this show is the only place I was going to see it. So when I was reminded that Loki was coming, the season was going to start this week, which I was. It was a funny thing. I was consciously ignoring that. I was really consciously ignoring the date when Loki was going to come back on. Like I wanted to miss him some shit, and I was really analyzing my feelings on that. And I think it's because Marvel has left such a sour taste in my mouth recently with its recent offerings that I'm not really giving a shit. I'm really not giving a shit. So I was not trying to see the date. I saw billboards and stuff like that for Loki, but happenstance, fate, whatever you may call it, by the time it came into full view, where I could see the date, I couldn't see it anymore. Couldn't see the date or anything on it. And I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to watch this shit. Maybe that's, fate telling me don't watch that show. I don't know. I was more into watching Gen V right now because episode four came out on Thursday. And I was really interested in seeing that because that has been really good before episode, a lot better than Ahsoka has been in eight. And I still have not watched the finale of Ahsoka yet. I'm not. I'm going to watch it after I finish this because I have time. I was thinking I would wait until I got back home so I can do my watch and review, but I probably won't need it. I saw enough other people, biting the phrase that it's Ahsoka's finally, that it's finally over, and it doesn't matter when I do it, just as long as I get my voice out there on what I thought this finale has been. I haven't watched anyone's reviews, just like with Loki. I haven't watched anybody else's reviews. All my favorite YouTubers who talk about this kind of stuff, they are on watch later because I will be watching you much later. I do not need anybody else's voices tainting my own experiences. So my take is a fresh take. It ain't repeating shit. So yeah, King Pear's like Gen V 100. Yeah, Gen V is something else, dude. Gen V is really entertaining me. I'm sorry, Gen V is entertaining me. In 4 episodes, less than 4 episodes, I was entertained. And one of them is a standout character in that shit. And I don't even think I was talking about this with JT because he was the one who got me to watch this shit finally. That well, that's something else. I'm getting way off the topic, and the title of this is freaking the Loki reaction. I'm telling you all about some other shows and stuff. So let's get to the Loki reaction so I can shut this off and get back to watching the rest of this crap. So the season picks up right where the last one left off. Loki is in TVA. He's back in the TVA after getting kicked out of the end of time by Sylvie, and he is trapped there in Sea Kang's statue, or the statue of He Who Remains. Right? And Mobius is there, B-15 is there, or Hunter B-15 is there, and they don't recognize him. They don't remember him. And we open with him taking off running from them and not understanding what the hell is going on and why they don't remember him. And then you get the first glimpses of what lets you know something is wrong in the sense that Loki is yanked out of that point in the TVA to some other point in the TVA. And what you discover through that is, well, I should say spoiler alert, shouldn't I? It should be a spoiler. That he is getting ripped through time, back and forwards in time. It looks painful. It does. Um, which I think is good, but that just goes into Tom Hiddleston and his act. Right. Now, eventually, Loki is able to make contact with Mobius and the rest of the Judges Council and give them some indication of what's going on. And the rest of the episode focuses on Loki and Mobius figuring out how to get Loki from traveling back and forth in time and understanding that what the TVA's response to this new information that they have is, which is they want to go look for Sylvie because no one is pruning these branch timelines. All these branch timelines are being allowed to happen because I guess over the course of one season being out and the next one being made, they decided to give Hunter B-15 a lot more lines, so everything is skewed towards Fimbosses. It's the first episode with this shit. It's the first episode, so I could be skeptical in the sense that it is just the first episode of the Loki show. I could not be skeptical at all about it and understanding that this is the MCU and Victoria Alonso, as executive producer's name, is still stuck on this shit. So I already know what the hell I'm getting. I already know what the hell phase 4 has been with Marvel and what I'm getting out of this shit. So when I watch this episode and I see, yeah, guys in it, but they all walking around like some dumbasses. And everybody who has lines that they need to really give are the females, and they sitting in the chairs and they have a conversation. And you got guys there who are older, probably no more than most of the people in the room, sitting there catatonic in their chairs, sleeping and snoring and shit. I'm like, well, at least they didn't butter me up first. At least they just gave it to me raw right up front. Like, fuck out of here. I caught a lot. The first one was the fifth element. First one was the fifth element. When he jumped over the rail in the beginning, he was running from Loki, jumped over the edge in the beginning, ran from TVA and maybe that landed in the yellow truck scene. That was from the fifth element. That's what it was. It was the fifth element. Even down to um, screaming and turning the wheel and running into stuff. That was that. Now, another thing was it was from the nature. It hit the door. Some of it looks like 2010, I think it was too. I don't know what it is with these supposed writers and directors nowadays. They cannot seem to do those things. I don't know what the hell that is. They're muffled or what? Yeah, they're probably not. I don't know. What y'all got now? You're asking me a question. You can do it. What's up, Johnny? What's the fact? Real question. Yo, yo, yo. I'm not getting any bars. This is like StreamYard because it's not responding to show me the bars of the sound. Got it now? All good now? Okay, it's on speakerphone now. Now that I lost my train of thought. Crashing through the window, I wouldn't necessarily call it Star Wars. I'd call it the Fifth Element. It looked like the Fifth Element to me. Same color vehicle, another floating vehicle, same shit. Okay. When Lilu met Corbin Dallas. So that's what I saw it as. You could have saw Star Wars, perfectly all right with you. I saw the Fifth Element. Okay. Now, yeah, the point I was making was that a lot of stuff is happening in this episode, but it's centered more so centered around Loki trying to get unstuck with time and understanding that the people here do not know what he does about the TVA, how it's made up of variants, and who he who remains is, and all that. And he and Mobius are trying to figure that out or get Mobius up to speed on that. At the same time, they're trying to figure out a way to keep him from slipping back and forth in time. Now, one of the places they go is resources and something else, RNA. And they get down there and they meet a character called Ouroboros, title of the episode. And Ouroboros is basically the dude that works down here and repairs stuff. Right. Think of him as Forge for the X-Men. Okay. Now, the funny part about this is that the character that's here, the actor playing him is Wee Yon Kwan or whatever his name is. Basically, it's Short Round. It's Short Round from Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, or you know, dude from Goonies, right? It's him. Now, I've been watching this dude for years, so when I saw his face, I'm like, that motherfucker look familiar, and I heard his voice. I'm like, that's him. That's fucking him. That makes me feel good in a sense because I've watched the actors like him grow up, and I've grown up with actors like him. So they always got a special place in my heart when I see him on screen again. So seeing him be there, be the tech guy, be the smart ass, it's like, yeah, I know who you are. I know who you are. Maybe these gadgets will work. Maybe these gadgets will work. It was cool. It was cool seeing them there. And it was equally as cool to see an interesting way that they got to communicate with each other and see what was going on and how time travel actually works as opposed to multi-dimensional travel. I've said this before about the MCU. They fucked up and muddied the waters with what is time travel and what is dimensional hopping. They've kind of screwed that up because a lot of people think it's all the same thing. It's not the same goddamn thing. It's not the same thing. And at least in this show, they showed it in a sense. Now, while Mobius and Loki are there talking to Ouroboros, Loki slips out of time and goes back to the past of the TVA in the same place. That is how time travel works. Time travel means you slip between time, not places. So when Loki disappears in time, from that moment, he reappears in a moment in the past in the same position he was in when he disappeared. That's how time travel works, folks. You don't start flying all over the place and you go from California to New York or upstate New York to Manhattan. That's not time travel. That's not. Okay. Okay. So the interesting thing that happens is that while Loki is back in time, he meets Ouroboros, who has not met him yet. And he starts having a conversation with Ouroboros in the past about meeting Ouroboros for the first time in the future and what they were talking about. And because he's having this conversation with him in the past, you get to see the future version of himself basically catch an upload while talking to Mobius. That he's getting and remembering things like, oh no, well, I think I made this as a memory that he might have forgotten because Loki is talking to him in the past and giving him information of the future in the past. Now that should cause a problem, technically, but they're playing it fast and loose this episode. Let's see where it goes. Now the other thing that happens in this episode that most people are forgetting is that when Mobius comes down there to bring Loki to Ouroboros, he thinks he's been there before and might know the guy, but he doesn't remember him. And then through the conversation, he remembers things, but then they're wrong. To me, that means that Mobius is going to end up in the past too. That one, his memories have probably been erased. Secondly, he probably ends up in the past or something is happening with him in the past. That's why he's remembering stuff, but it's disconnected. It's late. It's like he's having a brain fart. And then, oh yeah, I remember such and such. Did you? Okay. That means Loki met you in the past and you were doing something back in the past that got you to the point of actually meeting this guy. Yeah, time travel can get complicated. It's better to keep it simple. It's not really that complicated to me. To me, I don't see it as being very complicated at all. Whatever you do in the past will have repercussions on the future. So it's best that you don't interact with too much stuff that can have long-term effects on you personally, because it can redirect the whole flow of your life. And where you do that to a significant degree, that's where you get alternate timelines, branching timelines. But it's not time travel. You just have an alternate timeline. And it now runs parallel to the other one you was on. Off on the skew, but still parallel. Dimensions is different. It could be the same time. It could be exactly the same time. It could be 11:11 and dimension A, and you shift over to dimension D, and it's still 11:11. Or it could be a dimension where it's all water. So that's where I think they get it mixed up with Marvel, because I mix both of those things together, and it makes it goddamn confusing to regular TV watchers because they don't understand what the hell they're seeing anyway. Loki popping back and forth through time. He is also going through space, and two objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Dangerous. Okay, no. He was not moving in space. He was in the same spot, right? So whenever Loki popped out, he reappeared in the same spot in the past or in the future, right? Once he was in the past or the future, he moved to a different space, right? Like, perfect example is him going down the hallway with Casey, right? Casey saw him and tried to lead him to time portal, whatever it was, 3. Loki starts walking with Casey. Loki pops out, pops back up in the past, no Casey, and is still in the same spot where he left. But now he's in the past, so he continues walking forward. And when he pops back into the future, he's at a different position. Okay. If you want a good understanding of how to watch how that works, do the original H.G. Wells Time Machine. And what I'm forgetting the character's name right now. What he did to make sure at close to the end of that movie that he was where he wanted to be when he traveled through time is he had to drag his ship outside into his garden, outside of his lab into his garden. So when he reappeared in the future, he was outside the doors where he was trapped beforehand. In that time, he moved, he changed space. And when he went back through time, he reappeared in that same space further in time, right? He didn't travel through time to get outside the door. No. In the time he was in, he moved what would have been the distance to get outside that door and then reappeared in time. Simple. It's not actually complicated at all. Okay. The original Time Machine movie was great. It was great. Sparked a young man's imagination. Oh, forgive me. I'm getting super old, super quick, and I'm having to look at shit. David Tennant, the 10th Doctor. Yeah, the TARDIS is the only thing that actually moves through relative time and space. So it will move and time travel. And time travel, not just in one point in time, but one point in space too. I'm on Earth and I'm going to time travel to the year 3000 on Jupiter. Different navigation. Different navigation altogether. Or he can time travel in just one spot that they've done it. But the TARDIS is a spaceship. Right? Yeah, it's not complicated at all. It's fucking common sense. So anyway, the fact that they were being able to communicate with Ouroboros and Ouroboros was learning stuff in the future that he didn't think was possible, but because Loki is in the past talking to his past self, his future self is getting the idea. That is the whole, ripple in time butterfly effect of things. Your memories of the past are changed because he's changing it in the past concurrently. So that's why your new memories on this timeline have to update. You're getting new information. Now, the fact that Mobius wasn't remembering things and then he was remembering things means that Loki has an adventure with him in the past somewhere. That's why he was not knowing and then knowing things. So now that's a visual cue for you to understand what's happening with people when you watch the show. Is if they say no at first and then it's a yes, something's probably going on in the past with them that's giving them that information. And that makes it kind of interesting. It was an interesting way to have a conversation to get this one character to solve a problem that is a problem needed in the future, but his past self worked it out because he had information from the future. That's why he was able to help his future self. Yeah, it's very simple. And they did it really well in this Loki episode because you see him disappear, reappear in the same location, and then move and then disappear and reappear in the same location and then move some more. All his steps were broken up. For him, it's all one journey. He's still trying to get from temporal viewing room, whatever he was in, to the war room. But he leaped in time like 3 times in between there because his journey was broken up at different spots. But it's still the same journey. So that was interesting. Um, how they were going to go about plucking him out of time and the idea of raw time and it being something visual that you can see and them weaving it together on the temporal loom made me think of Wanted. Just made me think of Wanted and then the loom of fate, that whole shit. But it did look like Star Trek a little bit too, or at least Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, with Mobius in the spacesuit going out there. You'll die. It's radiation and stuff like that. I say, no, Spock, don't do it, Spock. What up, BMT? Trail, what's good? Don't do it, Spock. That's what I was thinking. That's why I said it was kind of 2001, 2010, more likely 2001, and then Star Trek at the same time. That was really just bugging me out. So, whatever. Now, by the end of this, if you watched all the credits like I usually do, you get to see that they do have a cameo at the end for Sylvie showing up. And Sylvie has been transported back into 1982 and walks into a McDonald's. Now she's 1982 Earth. So we don't know which Earth it is, but we know the year. And she wants to do everything. Okay, awesome. I guess that means we're gonna get some filet of fish action. They're gonna have her falling down on other chicks and everything in this show. It's all well and good. I'm waiting to see what the fallout will be because in one of Loki's little time slips, he went to the future of the TVA after he and Mobius had did what they needed to close the blast doors and whatnot. And it was still chaos, and Sylvie was there. And he pruned himself when seeing her. So, not really sure how she got back there. If she has He Who Remains Time device or not, I don't know. I don't even know how she would understand how to work it because remember all of his stuff was touch activated. Different technology, similar but not the same. Like a dog is similar to a cat because they both walk on 4 legs, but a cat is not a dog. They just both walk on four legs. Similar, not the same. So I'm curious to see what happens next. I thought the episode was a little shorter than it needed to be. I mean, I thought it cut off really abruptly. I'm like, that's the episode? You could have gave me a little bit more for your return, but okay, whatever. That's what I got. All the principals have showed up except for He Who Remains, or this version of Kang, Jonathan Majors, which I was happy to see on screen again. I actually was. I was actually happy to see Jonathan Majors on screen again, to understand what his acting gave to that show. So I will watch next episode, which it comes on, I guess, Wednesdays now. That's fine. I'll watch it on Wednesday right before Thursday, and then Thursday I'll watch Gen 5 and be actually excited, or Gen V and be excited. But for now, I'm curious about the episode. Um, some new things were thrown out there. The feminine beat is there. You don't have to even blink and you'll miss it. It's fucking there and prominent. You just have to want to see it or be tired of acknowledging that it's there and just say, whatever the hell. But it's there. You'll see it. You'll see it. Every pair of boobs is in front of every dude. And dudes just get to follow orders and act like little boys. Or doddering, sleepy old men. It's for women to make these decisions now. I'm gonna see how long that goes on before I really just lose my shit over it. But other than that, it was straightforward episode. Straightforward episode. You do get to see, or at least hear, that Kang met Renslayer, which, if you know comics, he has a relationship with Renslayer. He does. And you get the seeds of that in this episode, that they are connected in some kind of way. They kind of hinted at it last season. This one, they actually put it out there of him calling her a Marvel and shit like that. It's like, okay, that's in the past. So it's further in the past when he recorded that. So that means it might have happened a while ago. And in the end, during season one, where Renslayer pieced out with all these documents that she had, that's what I thought she did. She went back further in the past to meet up with his ass. So I'll wait to see how that develops and shakes out. But otherwise, I wasn't overly excited that it returned. It just returned, but that's not any fault on the Loki show in and of itself. That has to do with Marvel and Disney and how they've been treating this fan in their fan base, and I have not been happy. So if I was really happy, I probably would have already watched Ahsoka. I have not watched Ahsoka. I'm looking at this last episode of Ahsoka like I'm looking at the last episode of Bad Batch. Remember, I still ain't watched that last episode of season 2 of the Bad Batch, and I have not given a review because it has not rose on my list of priorities to watch. It has not. It has only gone further down. I do not want to go through that shit again. Ahsoka, I gotta finish it off. I'm invested, but I picked my level of investment. I picked my poison, and I didn't feel like drinking it today. Not yet, anyway. So I'll watch it after this so I can get that done and out there for you guys. But I'm not looking forward to it. I've had to stop some people from trying to talk to me about it and engage in their general dislike. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll do it. I'll do it for y'all, but I'm not looking forward to it. Really not. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this. That was my reaction to Loki season 2, episode 1, Ouroboros, along with Ahsoka and Gen V. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I am Artisan MC, choppy or not, and if I can find it, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.